Video we are going to be discussing the other special right triangle, which is the 30, 60, 90 triangle. So it has a special ratio as well, and each of those special ratios are in relationship to the short leg, which is opposite of the 30. So here we have the 30 degrees, and the opposite is always going to be your, so here we have the 30 degrees, and the opposite is always going to be your short leg. The long leg is always going to be the opposite of this 60 degrees, and your hypotenuse is again always opposite of your 90 degrees. So the relationship with the hypotenuse is that it is 2 times longer than your short leg, so that's why you see this 2x. And your long leg is going to be the square root of 3 times longer than your short leg, so that's why you see this x times the square root of 3. So again, the ratio is just 1 to the square root of 3 to 2 for your short leg to long leg to hypotenuse. So let's look at some examples. We're going to be treating these exactly like the 45/45s, where we set each of the variables or sides equal to these ratios and then solve for the variable x. So here is an example. So you can see that we are given the opposite of this 30 degrees. So the opposite of 30 degrees is always your short leg, so this is going to equal that. I'm going to make it a cursive x. Down here is going to be our 60 degrees. And the opposite of that is going to be our long leg, which is going to be x times the square root of 3. And our hypotenuse is always going to be 2 times that x. So again, you can use whichever variable you want. I'm just used to using x. You could use smiley face, you could use alpha, whatever. So I need to look to find out which variable that I just, or which expression I just wrote is actually equal to a number. So I can see down here that I already have that. I have that my x actually equals 2 times the square root of 3. So that just means I need to plug it in for the other parts. So we can plug it in up here. So this is going to be 2 times my x value, and x was this 2 root 3. And we can simplify this. 2 times 2 root 3. So 2 times 2 gives me 4, and the square root of 3 is left. And then on my long leg, I need to do the exact same. So I need to just plug that in. So my x value was 2 root 3, so I have 2 root 3. And I'm plugging that in, and it is being multiplied to the square root of 3. So 2 times the square root of 3 times the square root of 3. Square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is just 3. So this is just 2 times 3, which is 6. So we have our long leg, which is 6, we have our hypotenuse, which is 4 root 3, and we have our short leg, which is 2 root 3. Let's look at another example. So we see this time we're given the opposite of the 60 degrees. So the opposite of 60 degrees is going to equal that x times the square root of 3. Our short leg, which is opposite of 30 degrees, is just our x. And our hypotenuse is just 2x. So again, I want to go and now find out which of those things I just wrote is actually equal to a number. And here we can see it's this piece over here. So it's this. So that means I just need to solve for x. So since x is being multiplied by something, I'm going to divide both sides by the square root of 3. So on the left side, that just cancels, leaving me with just x. And on the right side, I now have a rational number in the denominator, so I need to rationalize the denominator. So I'm going to do that by multiplying by that square root of 3 over the square root of 3. So my denominator is just the square root of 3 times the square root of 3, which is just 3. My numerator, so the 5 times the square root of 2 times the square root of 3, is just going to give me 5 times the square root of 6, because 2 times 3 is 6. So this is what x equals. So now that we know that is what x equals, I can then go and substitute that into the other two equations. So on the short leg, so our short leg will simply be that x equals that 5 root 6 over 3. And we just need to go and plug that in for our hypotenuse. So this is going to be 2 times that 5 root 6 over 3. And we can multiply this to get 10 root 6 over 3. So now we have all three sides. We have the hypotenuse being 10 root 6 over 3. We have the short leg being 5 root 6 over 3. And we have the long leg being 5 root 2. So you have B is the opposite of your 30, A is the opposite of your 60, and 3 is the opposite of your 90. So pause this video, work it out, and see what A and B equal. So on the short leg, you should have gotten 3 halves, and on the long leg, you would have gotten 3 root 3 over 2. So if you did not get those, go back, look over your work,